The following is a presentation of TFNN.
This story began on a nice Florida winter day, December 10th, 2005, when a lone fisherman in Mosquito Lagoon, out near Cape Canaveral, discovered a crab trap that appeared to have something caught inside of it. As the fisherman looked closer, he noticed that a baby dolphin was tangled in a rope that had cut off the supply of blood to the dolphin's tail. The fisherman cut the rope and called for help because he saw this dolphin was struggling. The dolphin, later named Winter, was brought to the Clearwater Marine Aquarium, but too much damage was done to her tail, and it could not be saved. Now, folks, the greatest gift you can give anyone is the gift of your attention, and that is exactly what Winter received from a group of prosthetic engineers who created an innovative new design for a prosthetic tail. Winter, she's doing just fine, and her story of survival and success has gone on to touch others, many, many others. These are folks that need a more flexible prosthetic. We can't control the circumstances of life, folks, only how we respond to them. Circumstances are like the wind. Learn to set a good sail, folks, and let the wind take you to your dreams, your treasures, and your destination. Welcome to TFNN. We're glad you're here, and you have our attention.
It is now time for The Trader's Edge. Now, Steve Rhodes.
Good morning, money masters and treasure hunters. Welcome to the August 23rd, fantastic Friday edition of today's Opening Bell on The Trader's Edge. I'm your host, Steve Rhodes, and I absolutely treasure your presence here today. My outcome, as always, is to help you to become a better money master and to provide you with tools that each of us need in order to lead an inspired life. Because leading an inspired life, folks, that's what it's all about. So let's go look at one of our tools. This is the tool I call Everything and Everyone Around Us is Our Teacher. Would you like to find the greatest teacher in the world? No, the one that could teach you what you most needed to learn right now, right at this very moment. Well, you can find that teacher, and it's easier than you think. Just look around you. Your teachers are everywhere. You know, our lives are set up to teach us what we need to learn. You and I, we possess an inner wisdom that is capable of showing us who our teachers are and what they have to teach us. The people that each of us spend the most time with, well, they can teach us much about ourselves. That's why peer groups are so important to us. What we see in others is often a reflection of ourselves. What we most admire about another is the quality that we possess and maybe have failed to recognize in ourselves. Of course, the opposite is true as well. What we dislike about someone can be the reflection of what we don't admire about ourselves. Consider this. Socrates, he's considered to be one of the greatest teachers throughout history, so ponder this writing of his. The Delphic oracle, Pythia, the priestess of the temple of Apollo, once said that I was the wisest of all the Greeks. Now, Socrates went on to say it's because that I alone, of all the Greeks, know that I know nothing. Something to think about. I think that's where Schultze on the Hogan's Heroes, or maybe the writer, got that phrase from, I know nothing. I don't know. That was probably not my best Schultze, an imitation out there. But my opinion, these are the words of a teachable man. The truth is, we are teaching ourselves, and we use our life and the world around us as our textbook. The world around us is our classroom. We become our own greatest teacher. You know, the Dalai Lama once wrote, we live very close together. So our prime purpose in life is to help others. And if you can help them, or if you can't help them, at least don't hurt them. Look, everything and everyone around us is our teacher. And that, folks, that includes ourselves. You know, one of the questions that I received here recently by email, and thank you, you know, I love getting all these emails from listeners out there, obviously subscribers, clients as well. A couple days ago, I talked about leadership, and somebody asked me, what do I believe is the greatest leadership quality? If I were going to, come up with a list of 1 to 10, 1 to 5, or whatever, what's the number one? What's the greatest leadership quality amongst each of us? And, I thought about that for a while, and I believe the greatest leadership quality within each of us is hunger. Hunger and drive. You know, if you think about the king of the jungle, right? How about if you think about the leader of the jungle? He's the leader because he's hungry. So the question is, how hungry are you? I was speaking with a client yesterday talking about, trading system that I had taught several weeks ago for all of my client subscribers. And what she posed to me was, she said, where do you find all that energy and enthusiasm? And I'm pretty sure, in fact, I know it. My response was, it's my hunger. It is my hunger. It's my hunger for knowledge, my hunger for success, my hunger of what I know that I'm capable of. It's great things. And you, folks, you are capable of great things. You are a great leader, and you are a great teacher out there. Make sure you've got that hunger and drive. That's all that you need, and the world is yours. Let's go check out the world here, see where it's headed to. Right now, you've got the futures are up. Dow futures up only about 13 points, trading at 14,952. S&P futures up 3, trading at 1658. They're on their way to 1670 here. NASDAQ futures up 20 points, trading out at 3122. Russell 2000 relatively flat here this morning, so nothing to report there. King dollar up about 8 ticks right now, trading at 81.61. Currency market relatively flat. Goldilocks up about $2, trading at 1372 and change. Silver's up 7 pennies, out at 23.11. Light sweet crude back 43 cents right now at 104.60. Our call-in number, it's 877-927-6648. Would love to hear from you. Give me a call. We can take a look at your stock chart around the globe right now. Over in Europe, the DAX is up 18 points, so a flat market over there. The FTSE up 50 points, so up nearly 0.8% right now. A little bit of a mixed bag over in Asia last night. The Nikkei off 300 up 300 points, not off, up 300 points, up a little over 2%, while the Hang Seng was down 31 points. That's basically a flat market for the Hang Seng because it closed at 21,863, so you can't 31 points, that's a blip. The Shanghai, on the other hand, down nearly 0.5%, off 10 points, closing out its session at 21.53. So let's start off. I just said that the ES Mini was going to move to 1670. Well, that's one of its projected paths out here. If you're watching us on TigerTV, I'm going to show you a cool chart. This is the chart. This is the EKG of the market, in my opinion. That's the 30-minute chart for the S&P futures contract. And if you're watching us on Tiger TV, you can see several different things. You'll see the black box, the diagonal rectangle box, not diagonal, but the rectangle box out there highlighted with those big black lines. That's really the consolidation zone that the ES Mini had been traveling in. It broke out of it, almost made its full price projection to the downside of 1627. Now it's breaking out to the upside. Should be able to, make its full price projection to the upside, which is basically a 14-point consolidation range. That's how I came up with it. It's one of the ways I came up with a figure of 1670 out there, and that's if we continue to see it breaking out to the upside. And I suspect that we will see that. Whether that occurs, whether that takes place over today or today and Monday, that's what it looks like to me is the initial upside target here. Now, if you're just listening on the radio or your mobile device at TFNN.mobi, thank you so much for doing that. Remember, you can get the live stream of this on your smartphone device. If you go to the homepage of TFNN.com, on the right-hand side, what you'll see is a button there, upper right-hand side. You'll see 3 little smartphone devices. Click on that. This show will stream live to you. You can always catch the archive. You can replay it for about 4 or 5 days, I believe, and that is on Channel 9. Now, what we're also looking at, I want to show you on the way down here, I'm going to pull up this little chartreuse purplish color box, and we're going to take a look at, you can see the equal corrections when the market had moved down coming into this time frame. When it made its lows in the consolidation box, and basically, this becomes pretty much the level of the consolidation box, but from low to high, if we take a look at any kind of equal corrections in the marketplace, what you'll see is each time the market made a low, you saw that correction up there, and so that was as high as price was able to get. Well, when the market moved down most recently, as it was making its lows a couple evenings ago, not last evening, but the evening before at 8:30, if we take that same box, if we take, I didn't mean to do that. Let me try to grab the right thing here. Let me grab the other side of this box here. Let's try this, see how that works. No, that didn't work either. What is it going on? There we go. Okay. Now, if we take a look at the length of that box, just the harmonic, the harmonics going on inside the S&P, inside the ES Mini, you can see that first correction that we had inside, coming off of the lows, you can see how it stopped really right at that same level. So you can see that normal harmonic movement with inside the ES Mini. But what happened was yesterday we saw that trend change. We saw price break out above that level at 10 o'clock yesterday morning. Of course, I was live in a trade, so for that 2-hour stretch, we were managing that trade online, was telling you what we were looking at. I went ahead and closed out that trade as it came into that 1653 area. It was 1652.50 or something where I closed out that trade because price moved right into the resistance line that we were looking at. Of course, at the 11 to 11:30 show, we saw price begin to move back. I mentioned to you that I was not going to go ahead and take the short trade right there. I did not take the short trade. There were other factors, other indications, other things that I, share with subscribers in my newsletter as to the reasons why I believe that the market actually wanted to go ahead and move higher. Now, one of those things was certainly the break of this, the chartreuse, the harmonic correction that was in the market, because you were seeing that actually move to the upside. Now, I'm going to move that off to the side. Well, I'm going to try to move that off to the side here. There we go. I got it. Now, what you can also take a look at is you can see these other corrections now to the downside, and you can see it's making two different versions, two different harmonic corrections here. One I've got featured in light blue, the other is in light yellow, and each of those corrections, either of those two, are out there. We can see that last correction came in here at about 3:30 this morning, held that very close to holding that little red line going across my screen out here. What really happened yesterday, as the market had moved up into that time period of 11:30, the market got where? In fact, we were on the show. We were saying the reason, look, I'm going to close this trade out here, was because the relative strength indicator using that 14-day period, what we saw the market get into an overbought condition. And there's really only two ways to work that off. And the two ways are going to be pulling back or moving sideways. Well, it pulled back real quickly here at that 11:30 session, but not much of a pullback. If we take a look at the little harmonic distribution, harmonic pullback that it had in the marketplace out there. And then really move back into what? Move back towards that overbought condition. And all night long, all it did was really just move sideways in a relatively narrow range. Now, by moving sideways, what did it do? It worked off that overbought condition. Now, you can see it's moving its way back up there, but it worked off that condition to give it the opportunity to go ahead and run higher. Today's going to be an important day. Why? Because this would be the second day now where we come in with the futures pointing up slightly out here, because each morning prior to this, yesterday was the first time that what we saw the bears to fail. Not bears to fail. Boy, that's really great language. We saw the bears fail to sell off the markets yesterday, right? So inside this move here, what we have seen is every bounce that we had seen up until yesterday was nothing more than an opportunity to sell. And that did not take place yesterday. Maybe it'll take place today, but right now, the S&P futures, they've got some room to run. If we go take a look at the daily chart of the S&P futures out here, you can see that has made the 0.382 retracement. It's sitting at 1659. Guess what sweet old 618 level is? 1676. I said 1670, so I'd say between 1670 1676. That's the number if, in fact, the market moves higher today. Be right back, folks.
Who says you can't take it with you? TFNN says you can. With your mobile device and TFNN's live radio streams, TFNN has put it all in the palm of your hands. No special apps to download. No subscription fees for live radio or TigerTV streams. We say you can.
Now let's go over to the dollar, because the dollar is going to be the generator. It is the generator of basically higher dollar, lower market. And what the dollar has done, and this whole uptrend, folks, has just gone sideways. The way it works, folks, is this.
We say you can. The Tiger Financial News Network. Smart investors and professional traders know you can. TFNN.com. Educating investors. with the launch of TigerTV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With TigerTV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pezzamento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on TigerTV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out TigerTV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
McEwen Mining is a high-growth, mid-tier producer in the Americas with a market capitalization of $1 billion. Experienced mining executive Rob McEwen, as chairman, CEO, and president, owns 25% of the outstanding shares of McEwen Mining and has put in place an ambitious business plan with the goal of qualifying for inclusion in the S&P 500 by 2015. With $70 million in cash and liquid assets as of the end of 2012 and completely debt-free, McEwen Mining is poised for growth. Production in 2013 is forecasted to grow at 24%, reaching 130,000 gold equivalent ounces, and over the next 3 years, McEwen Mining projects that their production will increase to 290,000 gold equivalent ounces, almost a threefold increase from last year's totals. If you'd like to find out more about McEwen Mining, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE or TSX under the symbol MUX.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pezzamento's trading newsletter.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the Forex market, and more. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 full weeks. That's an $85 value. Yours free when you register right now.
Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind.
And get the edge you've been looking for.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Steve takes your phone calls now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Welcome back, folks. Dow futures up 32 right now. S&P up about 6, trading out at 1661. Let's go take a look around the see what's popping here in the pre-market. Moving to the upside. Give me a moment here to switch over to a tab. To the upside here, you've got RenRen. RENN is the ticker symbol, and that's trading up about 11% this morning. Last trade fired off at 37.79. Expedia, EXPE. And now RenRen is up. Let me see what the news is behind it. Looks like Baidu, is there something here? Baidu about to make a 50% equity interest in RenRen's position out there. It looks like that's what's pushing things higher. You've also got Expedia. That's to the upside. EXPE. That's the ticker symbol. Let's see, what do we have here? Travelocity. Has a strategic marketing agreement in North America powered by Expedia's technology. So they're up 7%. Let's go take a look at those stocks, see what things are trading into. Now, to the downside here, you've got Aeropostale. ARO is a ticker symbol. They're off about 14%, so we'll take a look at that as well. But if we take a look at Expedia had a big gap down, big sign of weakness here July 26. 28 million shares to the downside. So if we take a look at where this is trading into, now this thing also had quite a large gap up. So it was the gap up, the sign of strength, that actually stopped the fall of price. But if we take a look at the volume on that nice sign of strength out there, well, it only had 17 million shares. That was on July 27, 2012. But that moved down here with 28 million shares. Maybe this will get into a consolidation. I don't know. First of all, right now, what Expedia is doing, it's trading out at $49.95. And as we take a look at the top of the gap, which would mean the candle session from July 26, that's 50.90. So it hasn't even made it all the way up to the top there. It looks to me like this thing's going to try to push lower. Maybe we just see a little bit of a pop and drop here this morning inside Expedia. But talk about a wide price bar on that gap down near the prior session, July 25th, folks. The close of that was $65 even Steven, and the very next trading session it got down to a low of 47. That is a hammering inside of Expedia. So doesn't look like you want to get in front of that freight train. Renren, if we take a look at Renren, really a similar type of look. Now, it had a gap down. Now, the volume here on the gap down wasn't too bad. So this has a high volume, high bar from August the 13th, 17 million shares. So even though there's this gap out here inside Renren, the top of it being the candle session from August 15th, and that level is 390. It's trading right now only at 376, but I can make a case for this one going ahead and making a run into that August 13th. It's a high volume, high out there. That gap down, the volume, not that big of a deal. All price really did inside Renren is come back to the breakout area because there was some nice wide price spread and a breakout from August the 1st out there. That had the volume of 10 million shares, then goes and makes a high with 17 million shares. So looks like to me on Renren, it's not too bad with regard. Now, it's running into some significant resistance. You can see that if you go further back on the left-hand side of the chart, that resistance, that sell area that has got to work its way through goes back to May 18, 2012. There were 32 million shares to the downside. So the limited upside potential in this ends up being probably about $4.82 out here. But you are seeing signs of strength now inside of this off of the bottom. So maybe worth taking a look at. I'm not going to do it during this show out here. It is back above the 200-day exponential moving average as well, so that's a positive. That is on Renren. But now let's go take a look at Aeropostale, A-R-O. I think that's how you pronounce it. That is going to be gapping down again this morning out here. This has gapped down a few times. It's, you talk about some institutional selling inside this equity. The very first time that we saw that, I would have to say, well, it depends where I go back on the chart here, but the time that you really saw the markdown phase of this, that began on August 2nd, 2012, so nearly a year ago, and it was 13 million shares to the downside, wide price spread on that day, because the prior session, this equity here had closed at about $20, $19.45, makes a low the next trading day on $12.65. So what is it doing right now? Well, you've got an A to B equals CD down. The B point on this is June 24th. That has been taken out. That had 2 million shares. As price passed through that, it did it with 2.9 million shares. Yesterday it moved, it gapped down a little. Well, it didn't gap down yesterday, but it moved below the 1-to-1 A to B equals CD. You had volume picking up to the downside. This morning it's going to gap down. Whoops, didn't mean to do that here. Let me shorten this up. Where is it trading at right now? It's a great question. It's trading out at $9.37, but this thing is going to move to probably at least $8.53. That's your 1 to 1.6. I've got a red line going across my screen. Let's go see what that is. That's taking us back to a swing point, back down to the September of 2011 area, 916. So that's going to move below a pretty, well, I'll tell you what. This has, if you go back to 2008, looks like the low's around $8.44. If it breaks that, man, that is really trouble for this equity. Be right back, folks.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open, even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors. With the stock market flirting with all-time highs and volatility back, now is the perfect time for a 2-week free trial to Market Insights. On Monday, June 24th, Tom O'Brien closed out all 5 open positions in his daily newsletter, Market Insights, with all trades being profitable and ranging from a 2.23% gain all the way to more than an 11% gain in just one position for an incredible 32.7% profit combined between the 5 trades. Let Tom O'Brien's years of market experience work for you. If you'd like to see for yourself what kind of trading newsletter Tom O'Brien delivers to his clients each morning, then now is a perfect time to sign up for a 2-week free trial to his daily newsletter, Market Insights. In a volatile market like we currently have, the potential for fast market moves like we've seen recently is a trader's dream. So don't wait any longer. Sign up for your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today at the front page of TFNN.com. Andy Hecht, the host of the Commodities Hour, recently launched his newsletter service, the Technomental Commodity Report, and only 6 weeks in, Andy has already recorded a triple-digit winner. Andy advised his subscribers to purchase a long-term call option at 46 cents on July 11th, and then sent out a special update Friday, August 16th, advising his subscribers to close that position at $1.40. That's a 204% profit in just 5 weeks. The Technomental Commodity Report by Andy Hecht is released each Thursday morning, and right now you can get a month-long free trial to this subscription while locking in the low introductory rate of only $39 a month. Andy Hecht has been a commodities trader for over 3 decades. Let his experience work for you. Sign up for your month-long free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report today at TFNN.com. Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're off to the races. We got the Dow up 17 points, trade out at 14,980. S&P up 4 at 1661. Composite up 17 points, trading at 36.55. Russell 2000 up 91 pennies, trading at 10.37. You want to talk about liftoff? Gapping up this morning, it is Microsoft. On news that Steve Ballmer is going to be retiring within the next 12 months. I did take a look at Microsoft earlier this morning, saw that it was moving higher, but after the announcement, so somebody knew something, but after the announcement hit the wires here, you've got Microsoft up 7% right now. It's up $2.30. Now, Microsoft had gapped down with some real big volume here. This was back on July 19th. Volume to the downside, 248 million shares. That's big. That's big for, in any event, if we take a look at the volume. Now, what price has done this morning moved right down into the breakdown session. So the low of that breakdown session on July 18th is the $35.22. And what it opened up at and got up to was 35.20 so far. It's been selling off since then, so we'll pay attention and see if this is nothing more than just a big pop and a drop out here. But what it was running into was some big selling activity that took place on July 19th. As I mentioned, 248 million shares to the downside. So that could become a real significant resistance area if, in fact, it sells off, continues to sell off throughout the day. Let's take a look at things here. You got things popping to the upside. You got Expedia, Autodesk. Expedia's up 450, Autodesk up 375, Inter Oil Corp, IOC up 3.25, Darling International, that's up 240. You've got Net1 UEPS Technology up 31%. That's up $2 and change. That's a nice move. Microsoft up couple bucks again, about 7%. VMware up 2% to the downside. Leading things to the downside, DFC Global, DLLR. Down 24% now. DFC Global, let's see, they provide financial services to unbanked and underbanked consumers and small businesses. Companies' primary products and services include unsecured short-term consumer loans, secured pawn lending, check cashing, gold buying, and Western Union money transfers. So let's go check out this equity, see what it is doing, because it's down big time out here. Now, as far as the news behind it, looks like they reported numbers, revenues of $269 million versus $266, so that's not too bad. Net income $7.4 million versus a $4.2 million loss, so that's not it out there. Somebody must be guiding very poor results out here. Again, the ticker symbol here is DLLR, down about 23% with some volume, too. Let's go see what it's gapping. Oh, there we go. There's your answer, right? Remember, the very first thing, that doesn't matter. If you don't, if technical analysis, you're looking at a chart and you're like, what does all that gobbledygook mean? How is it? Because I can understand that. I totally get that. I remember that, look, I'm a numbers guy. I remember the very first time, not the first time, like, I used to read, Barron's, couldn't wait for the edition to come out, of Barron's on, used to be delivered, on Monday morning to the house or whenever. Couldn't wait to read that. Then, in the Wall Street Journal or what have you, to look at the back of the stock section and, and see all of these charts that would be in there, and I couldn't make any sense out of it myself. Well, so I understand where it is that you're starting from, and if technical analysis is something that you're interested in, the good news is that that's always a starting point where you look at a chart and you don't understand anything. Now, the first place you want to look at a chart here. So, where's the first place I start? The first place is take out any chart and look for those volume bars, and you want to understand those volume bars because either to the upside or the downside, doesn't matter. Where are those volume bars? Well, if you take a look at this equity here, which is DFC Global, DLLR, that big volume bar is to the downside on April the 1st. Talk about wide price spread, accelerated volume. Well, there's a picture of it. 5.8 million shares to the downside. The low is $12.95. Now, the bad news is for this equity, it's now gapped down. This is not it doesn't look like it's really a three-gap play out here. We'd have to go. Actually, it could be a three-gap play out here. This is the third gap. The first gap took place back here on August 23rd, 2012. The second one was the big one. That was on April the 1st when it gapped down with 5.7 million shares. And now, looks to me like today is going to be the widest gap, both in dollars and percentage. Volume-wise, I don't know. But it's now down below that support line here, which could have been a support line, the April 1st low at $12.95. It's trading out at $12.06. If we put this on a longer-term chart, which we're going to do right now, see where this thing could be trying to pull back to. Well, it's going against this big old bullish engulfing candle. That's the low here of $9.94 on the weekly chart. So if that area fails, that is not good for this equity. Why? Because the next swing point, which is so the second thing you're going to look at when you take a look at a chart, when you take a look at where price is going to go to, either to the downside or the upside, just look for the next swing point. You say, Steve, what's a swing point? Look for where you see the most significant change in trend. The largest intersection, just like you're driving down a street here. Some of you are listening, you're driving right now, and you're passing all kinds of intersections. A lot of those are just minor intersections, just, different streets that you could turn into. Well, when you come to a major intersection, maybe where it is you've got a stoplight here, and you could actually make a U-turn, if you've got those center median areas. Well, this is really the U-turn, if you will, when you're taking a look at a stock chart, when you see the most significant. The other areas, they're also intersections. They're also swing points, but you want to take a look at where the most significant swing points are, because that becomes another target area. That becomes a magnet. Well, in the case of what is this, DFC Global. If it breaks this swing point, that was a bullish engulfing, nice big bullish engulfing, had some wide price spread, had some accelerated volume. That was August 27th of 2010. Of course, that was going back to that back-to-back P-index dates. That was the 24th and 25th of 2010. Also, those P-index dates, of course, those were written in history for millions of years out there. And then, of course, you had, I believe that was the announcement of QE2 right around the 27th or so, right around there. I can't remember which day it was now, back in 2010. Nonetheless, 994 is that low, and if that gets taken out inside this equity, well, the next swing point's down at about $3 and change out there. Now, let's go take a look at what else we have here. That is Pandora Media. Let's go see what Pandora Media is doing. That is down this morning here about 10%. So let's go see what Pandora is trading into. P is the ticker symbol. See what kind of volume is behind the move out here. Now, Pandora Media, this thing here looked like maybe it was going to gap up. I'm sorry. It is now. There was a line of support that this thing should have traded into. Now, the support that I was looking at was this little bearish engulfing candle that had formed all the way back here on July the 9th. And if we take a look at that, the high was on the 8th out there was 2054. That should have been an old area of resistance. Once price broke through it, which it did on August 13th, then it price should have continued moving higher. But it didn't. It came back down into it with volume of 4 million shares moving back down in there on August the 15th. Now, this morning here, you've already gapped down with 5.4 million shares. Now the key is going and looking for the next volume bar out here. Well, it's traveling right now inside that bar. That bar is on July 1st. So the top of that is 2029. This is traded at 1937. The bottom of that bar is 1877. If price moves below that area, which I suspect that it will, then you've got to start taking a look at where the next areas of support could be. Well, you've got this little volume bar here, not really wide price spread or anything. Back on May 24th, that would be 1640 to 1739. The area that you really be focusing on is this little breakout session here inside Pandora. And that takes you back to March 8th of 2013. That's a level of somewhere between 1349. That's a low. Well, actually, the high would be 1470. The low you want to use is the prior session where it had gapped up from. That was be on March 17th at 1164. That's where you had really wide price spread and accelerated volume. That is on Pandora Media. So it's got a couple different levels. That's the good news about this equity here. Are there a couple different levels here where you could find some stability? But if those areas fail, where it really wants to get back to is that original breakout area back from the 8th of March on this year, 2013. What else do we have here that is moving? Let's go back and take a look at Microsoft real quick. In fact, as long as we're going to look in there, I'm going to be in my little core area of stocks for us to pay attention to. So Microsoft, holding up okay here. Nice big gap up. Volume so far, 63 million shares. So considering it had gapped down with 248 million shares, what this is really now doing is probably setting up a consolidation range. Now, if you're watching us on Tiger TV, you can see the 4 different lines, squiggly. Well, you see a number of lines, but inside the price bar area of the chart, you see 4 different squiggly lines. The green one is a 200-day exponential moving average, and on that gap down, the 200 period held out there. So that becomes pretty good support inside Microsoft. Resistance now is most certainly going to be that July 18th area where it had broken down from, somewhere between 35.22 to maybe 35.89, and maybe this consolidates in between that level and that 200 period, or really the low of July 19th, which is about $31.02 out there. Let's see, what else do we have on the move out here? Let's see, what did we have pop into the upside? Let's take a look at, we'll go take a look at Autodesk here in just a moment. Let's take a look and see what's going on with some of these other stocks here. Let's take a look at IBM. Let's go see what's going on with IBM. It has not made its way yet down to the bottom of its original sign of strength here. When I say original, I'm really just going back to the time period here of January of 2012, January 19th, January 20th, really to be specific. It's that January 19th candle that I'm looking for some type of signal, bullish or bearish, from IBM, because that is a nice trading range that it has been in. The top of that session is 182.36. It's gotten down close to that area, but that 182.36 area should be tagged. And if it can hold that level, if the bulls show up, you can see that inside IBM, it is in the oversold territory. So it'd be nice to see it push down there, do it with less than 8.5 million shares, and then see some kind of sign of strength, some kind of bullish reversal, because that sets up a move anywhere between the 182 range to about the 212. So you're looking at a nice potential $40 consolidation inside of IBM. Let's go check out some of the other equities with inside here. Let's take a look at Simon Property Group. Talk about wanting to make sure that you use trend lines as one of your tools out here. Well, here's a perfect reason to use that. Take a look at, there's trouble out in Simon Property Group, Phil. I mean, this thing broke through the trend line on August the 2nd. It had not broken that trend line. We're going back to March of 2009. Then take a look at last week's action. This thing here this is a weekly chart that we are taking a look at, by the way. Now let's take a look at the A to B equals CD down pattern. This says that Simon Property Group wants to come back into the 136.54 level. That would be your 1-to-1, but that's not really where this will stop. No, this won't. Because somebody out there was watching my screen and they said, hey, Steve-O, why don't you go back to that high volume bar inside Simon Property Group? Simon Property Group could pull back to August 12th of 2011, the high of which is 117 out there. That's your high volume bar. If you come a little bit further over to the right, you've got a high at about 113.45 on October the 7th. And it looks like that is really where Simon Property Group is now headed to. Let me just update this chart here, make sure I've got all the current data inside here. So Simon Property Group, that's a way to use trend lines as your friend out here. As long as we're in this area, we've got Google to take a look at and Apple. So let's go do that. If we take a look at Google, Google has held the hammer candle. That hammer candle that was formed here on June the 6th, 2013, the low of which is 847.22. That low has not been tested. Price just getting down towards the midpoint. That's really where you want to start taking a look at buying an equity, is right around the midpoint to the actual bottom of the wick of the hammer candle. In this case here, it was pulling back with 1.6, 1.8 million shares. The hammer candle itself had 2.5 million shares, so pulling back into a swing point and into one of the most bullish single-day candles that you can, reversal candles that you can have out there on lighter volume out there. So not being able to bust prices down, that is in Google. If we take a look at Apple, let's go see what Apple is doing here this morning. That's trading out at a price of $4.99. Now, you expected Apple to take a breather. Why? Because it made the 1-to-2 A to B equals CD. Did that on the trading session of August the 19th. If you've got the art of timing the trade, that when you do a 1-to-2 A to B equals CD, you're going to do something differently. Now, that something differently was formed a bearish reversal signal on the trading session of August 20th, a little bearish engulfing candle out there. But volume-wise on that pullback, really nothing to write home about. Did volume on that trading session of 12 million shares after making a high with 18 million shares. That's a light volume pullback out there. The very next trading session, 11 million shares. The one from yesterday, of course, we can't really take a look at yesterday's volume. Kind of has to be, in my opinion, got to be thrown out the window. With the NASDAQ closed for 3 hours and everybody just being on hold, not wanting to take any trades out there. That's how do you use really yesterday's volume out here? So I'm not even talking about yesterday's volume in the marketplace, unless there was some kind of big gap down or something like that. That's a different story out here. So what we can expect here is we can expect Apple to pull back. I would say what you want to be looking for inside of Apple, and you can see also Apple getting into that extreme overbought condition. So that's got to be worked off. So inside Apple, the area to be paying attention to is going to be August 13th. That's got 31 million shares there. Doesn't matter the reasons why. That's areas where you should be finding large entities wanting to go ahead and support the equity down at around the 468 type level. So a pullback in Apple to about 468, maybe that 200-period exponential moving average, which is down at about 470. That's where Apple should find some pretty good support out there. 877-927-6648. Dow is up 16. We'll be right back, folks.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Recently, Basil Chapman has had some outstanding trades in his newsletter, The Opening Call. Each morning by 9 a.m., Basil uploads his newsletter to the TFNN servers so that his subscribers can access his expert trading advice. Basil gives his take on the direction of key indices and updates any active trades that his subscribers are currently in. Just recently, Basil subscribers closed out a short position in Chipotle Mexican Grill, CMG, for more than an $86 profit per share, over a 20% gain in just one position. If you'd like to try out Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, then visit the front page at TFNN.com and click Trading Newsletters. There you'll find Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, where you can request a free sample copy. Also, don't miss Basil's program, The Tiger Technicians Hour, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, on TFNN.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments.
The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour, sponsored by Nadex. Up next on TFNN.
Welcome back, folks. Really flat market out here at the moment. The Dow's up 9, S&P is up 1, Nasdaq Composite up 12, Russell 2000 is off $1.50 out here. New York Stock Exchange, that's flat, that's up $6. 180 net decline in issues out here. So nothing really, but just a flat market. Now, if we take a look at the VIX, what are the things we're going to pay attention to today? Well, number one, we're going to pay attention to the VIX. The VIX here gapping down this morning, and they're basically touching the 50-period exponential moving average. The number on the 50 period is 14. 19. The low so far that we saw was 14.26 out there. So 14.19 is going to be the number you're going to want to be paying attention to, because you get to close back below the 50-period exponential moving average, and that says, well, what that will set up, that'll set up, a retracement in the marketplace inside the S&P 500. We go over and we take a look at that, because you'd be looking at, certainly that would be a confirmation on the cash S&P, could get up into about the 1682 level. We'll see if the top of the descending price channel were to stop it. Maybe that's around the 1670-ish. So you'd be looking at 1675 or so to 1682. If the VIX index gets below the 50-day exponential moving average, that would really help to set that up. The New York Stock Exchange, as far as net declining issues, net advancing issues needed in order for the bulls to take control of the market. Let me see if I can pull something up. I'll give that to you here. But in the meantime, while I'm trying to multitask and pull that up, what else should be? Well, let's just do this here. Let me just pull it up and get right to it. The number that we would be looking at there is going to be net advancing issues. In order for the bulls to take control of the market, you need 1,359 net advancing issues. Now, look, at 1,359, I wouldn't exactly get overly bullish in there, but that's what would be needed in order for the bears to have fumbled the ball today. So that is a doable thing, unlike yesterday. What was needed yesterday had nice advancing issues. That was up over 2,000 out there. That's what would be needed today in order for the bulls to really take control of the marketplace. So that number, 1359, you want to be watching for that as well. If we take a look at what's going on inside the currency markets here, we'll take a quick spin around the currency area as well as Goldilocks and silver. You got the euro. We'll start with the queen out here. The queen still traveling with inside this up-thrusting bar from August 20th. So not a lot of change here from yesterday. The low of that session, 1.3322. That's on August the 20th. The top of that is 1.3450 at this stage. Not giving us any indication here whether it wants to break up to the upside, and it has found it has told us is it certainly has found resistance at that major intersection, that swing point of June 19th out there. But came up there with a nice bar, and price traveling with inside here has not given us any other information. If we take a look at Goldilocks, really a flat day out there. It's up $4, no big shakes out here. Actually looks to me now like we've seen a number of days here. We've seen 2, 4. This is the 6th day of a very narrow-bodied candle. What it now looks to me like is being done out here is what gold is doing is getting ready to coil and pop. Coil and pop up to about the 1441, 1487 level out there, trading right now at 1374. If we take a look at high-ho silver, you really have the same pattern set up out here, really narrow-ranging bars. That was after making the 1 to 1.618 A to B equals CD. So it looks like silver also getting ready to coil and pop and strike, and that would be striking up to about the $25 range out there. The 200-period exponential moving average is 24.93. So $25 looks like it's a target out here. A quick peek in on bonds here. And, bonds are below a big consolidation range, folks. That's a consolidation range going back to 2011. Bonds here, they're going to eventually make their way down to the 117 because they've broken that consolidation level. Folks, it is Fantastic Friday. Have a great weekend. Have a great day. I look forward to seeing you on Monday. Always remember, you have an amazing power within yourself, and that power is so strong, it'll create a life of abundance, build billion-dollar businesses, but most of all, create fantastic, loving families. Thanks for being a part of the TFNN family. Have a great weekend, folks. Look forward to seeing you Monday. What's the one thing that pulls people back from the breakthrough that they're moving towards? What's the only thing that really stops people from taking action? You and I both know the answer, and sure, we can come up with the reasons why we're not where we want to be, but the only reason that we don't do more with our life is fear. Or if you're an overachiever, call it stress. Simply put, there's something that happened to us in our past that's holding us back from the life we deserve, yet you and I are okay, we're here. So why should we let our past control our future? Exactly. We shouldn't. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes with TFNN.com, and when it comes to your trading and investing, I can help you overcome your fear of loss. Together, we'll turn weakness into strength with a system I've developed called Mastering Probability. I'll teach you how to make your money work harder for you than you do for it. I'll teach you the tools that provide financial freedom. Go to the homepage of TFNN.com, click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and begin your journey of mastering probability risk-free. It's time to become a pioneer of your future versus a prisoner of your past.